Hey, Trash to Treasure kids. It's our 5th day of projects. We've had a great time so far. I've really enjoyed making some interesting things with you this week. And again, today, this is project 5. Really simple, but boy, what we're gonna make today, these fabulous newspaper flowers can make such an impact wherever you decide to put them. I would say for most of you, this is something that's gonna go in your room, or you could make a little bouquet for a friend. I like to use these in my classroom. I've done that several times with both newspaper, that's fully newspaper, that's what we're gonna work with today. You could do them with tissue paper. Simple, fun, but boy, they really make a visual impact. So let's get started with these. I'm gonna start with a big one this size, okay? And for that, we're gonna need 4 layers of newspaper, half sheet. That's what I'm calling a half sheet. 4 layers. You're gonna need some tape to tape it around the center, and you're gonna need, of course, your scissors to cut the newspaper. Those are the only things you really need today, unless you decide you wanna paint it. I've done this one in silver spray paint to match something that I'm working on at home. You can do yours the color of your room, or just leave them. Look how cute that is, just newspaper. So we're gonna do a couple of sizes because there are some tricks here, guys, in terms of how much newspaper for the size flower you want. Let's start with a big one. First up, I'm gonna take my 4 layers of newspaper, okay? And I'm gonna make sure they're stacked really neatly here, got, right on top of each other, no messy, and very carefully. You don't have to use a ruler. I mean, I've known people who do use a ruler because they're very particular, but I'm gonna fold. We call this accordion folding. I'm sure you've done this sometime in the past. Just taking that newspaper and going back and forth, and I am trying to be, a little bit neat here. Again, I'm not using a ruler or anything, and just accordion folding this newspaper all the way down the sheet. Do back and forth, neatly, carefully. It's kind of fun to do this for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably something we don't do a whole lot of, but it is kind of fun to be folding this. And I'm just almost to the end. Okay, one more fold. And it's going to look like a giant bow tie, or maybe it's a giant mustache. Folded like that, and I'm holding it with my fingers right now. And all I'm gonna do, this is kind of a painter's tape. Let's see, I probably need my glasses to even see. I think it's right there, where it starts. You can use any kind of tape. Masking scotch. Again, I'm using a painter's tape that I had. And I'm just going to wrap it around the center. I'm gonna do that a couple of times, a couple of wraparounds. You can see what I'm doing here. And about 3 wraparounds, I think that'd be good and secure. And I'm just going to snip it off. All right, now I'm ready to start creating that fanned out flower effect. Kids, you wanna take your time doing this. This is the part of this project where you don't want to rush, get in a hurry. We already know from earlier this week, your newspaper is fragile. So I'm just slowly and carefully taking my time. Going to start pulling out each layer on one side of the paper and fanning those out. Again, take your time. Fanning these out to create this beautiful flower. So let me give you a couple of minutes. Lay them out, accordion fold back and forth, about 1 inch apart. Get your tape around your center, and then again, you're gonna slowly and carefully fan out these sheets so we're creating that flower effect. I'm gonna start working on the other side while you get caught up, and then we'll come back and try another size. See you in a minute. Okay guys, so have you fanned out your first one, this big one that we did? So here's that one I had done, and then I took my time and fanned this one out. I think it turned out great. The nice thing about working with your newspaper is it's nice and firm. You know, this feels pretty sturdy. Again, you can spray that, paint it with your brush, leave it natural. If your mom or parent or whoever you live with is at home with you right now, I actually used several of these as the top of my Christmas tree last year, painted some sparkly colors. They looked beautiful, very beautiful. I want to show you now though, working if you're going to do some that are smaller, and they can be very cute too, but you got to take some different precautions. So we've got our big one done. If you're going to go with something smaller, you know, maybe about, what would you say? That's about a third of the size as the other. You're going to only want to use 3 layers of your newspaper. 4 layers gets a little bit thick. And when you are folding these, again, stacked up neatly, just like the other, 3 layers, and I've cut down the size of that paper. I've got about a quarter of the large paper. You're gonna wanna accordion fold a little bit more narrow than you were doing the other one. So my folds are just a little bit smaller. And again, just the back and forth folding, a little bit thinner than the first one. I'm just trying to be neat and careful. Again, that newspaper is delicate, but boy, when it's done right, it's just really attractive. And I'm back and forth, just like the other one. So it's like a smaller version of the first one. Ready to go. And I'm going to try to take a little bit thinner tape. You don't want a super thick tape on this small one. And again, I'm gonna tape it off. Maybe about 3 times around will be good. And then cut that off. And fair warning, when you start to fan these out, these little ones, you really have to take your time and use a delicate hand. Now, as I start that, let me pause and show you. This is one I made earlier, where I used the full length of paper cut in half. So it was this much paper all the way down. Too thick, too long. That's what I decided. Too thick, too long. If you're gonna do smaller, you wanna have about that much and only use your 3 layers. So I'm really carefully gonna be fanning that out so I'm not tearing the paper or making it look messy. That's the big thing with today's project, is it's easy, but we wanna use a delicate hand. So let me give you a moment to get your smaller version set up, and I'm gonna keep fanning mine out. We'll come back in just a moment. Okay, we're back. So right now we have created a couple of the larger flowers and some of the cute smaller ones. And once you've done that, the sky's the limit here, guys. Do you want to spray paint them certain colors? Do you want to leave them natural? For something I'm working on at home, I want that newspaper to show. So I think that's got a great look. You do you. It's all about you, and there is no right or wrong. I try to make sure you know that every time. Let's do a quick review of the process of these so you can make some more when you have some free time. It's fun, but we do want to use the delicate hand. You're doing the large ones. We want 4 layers of this size, the what I call a half sheet of newspaper. You might have 2 big ones and slice it down the middle. That's what we're doing for the larger ones. If you're gonna do some of the minis, I'm calling that a mini, you're gonna have 3 layers and the paper cut about this size. It's all about using that delicate, gentle, slow hand to lift the sheets, to create the flower. Don't get in a hurry, and you're gonna have a great project by the time you get finished working with these. Hey, we'll see you next time on Trash to Treasure. Y'all take care.